Hey everyone, hope you're well. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, BCH, XRP, BNB, and then over the weekend we'll do an altcoin video that people are voting on right now as we speak. So we had a bull break on the 4-hour time frames here, and some of the altcoins are following through more significantly than Bitcoin. We can see the upper wick that Bitcoin is forming right now, but it did put us back into the middle of this equilibrium. So right now we have our high, low, lower high, our higher low has formed, and we're scouting a lower high compared to 67, 87 sometime in the next couple of days. This is why we can stay within this pattern into next week, and I anticipate that we just may do that because we are snugly fit inside, and there's also still a good amount of space for us to see a little bit more continuation, pull back, still hold support. So I would say it's entirely possible this weekend is a fairly boring one in the cryptocurrency space, but again, we're at the point in the weekly time frame where you don't want to take your eyes off of things because when things happen, they will likely happen very quickly. 4-hour time frame, so there's that bull break. We were grinding these exponential supports. We still had a bunch of clear lower highs, and now we have broken those lower highs. That being said, this is not a very convincing candlestick for Bitcoin. The 5-minute time frame gave most of it back. So on any kind of move like this, the ideal scenario is you only give back a third of that move, at worst half of that move, but in this instance, you can see we gave back the vast majority of that candlestick, and it was only one bull candlestick. And look back to the last bull move that we had, it was 2 bull candlesticks on the 5-minute time frame. So 10 minutes of bullish action, and now 5 minutes of bullish action, and it's making a difference on the longer term time frames, but it's important to zoom into the shorter term time frames to find out, oh wow, that move really wasn't that strong at all. It was just one candlestick. These moves that we want to be seeing have healthy consolidation and then continuation, not a big spike and then give it all back. So at this point, definitely made a bull break on the 4-hour, but it's not very impressive, and the bears are still fairly comfortable, and they're going to be comfortable as long as this daily chart stays with lower highs. So break this equilibrium bullish next week, and that will change, but it's not changing right now. ETH, equilibrium as well. It's tighter than Bitcoin, so we might see a break here on ETH before we see it on Bitcoin, and we just formed our higher low. Anything under 238.69 is a lower high, and our new support level is 214. So that's our range to be watching. We're right in the middle of that range. 4-hour time frame saw that bull move. Comparing it to Bitcoin, 5-minute candlestick. It was actually 2 5-minute candlesticks, but again, we're giving most of it back, more than the bulls would like to see, and there is a correlation to BTC, but we did not give back as much as what we just saw on BTC. So again, these altcoins holding up a little bit better, but obviously correlated as well. LTC is, we could stay within this range for even longer because the range that we're currently in for LTC is much wider than we're looking at on these other names. So we're looking at a lower high anywhere under 65.60. Tons of space for that lower high to form. This is not an impressive bounce at this point. The bulls definitely need more follow through. I would say if we don't break 61, we're going to say that the bears have favor on this current setup. So you have to get back to 61 to get back to the middle of the range. If we don't, it's just a lower high, and the bears will have the upper hand. Again, the weekly time frames for LTC and ETH, cannot forget they are in very clear downtrends. LTC bulls are trying to form a higher low. ETH, you look at that weekly chart, and it's just, you have to form that higher low, or we're going to see another leg down, and that's the last thing that these bulls want to see. It would suck the wind out of the cryptocurrency space as a whole if ETH and LTC do break down to lower lows on the weekly time frame. So they need that weekly higher low, then break the weekly lower highs in combination with BTC breaking its lower highs. But at this point, bulls have a lot of work to do to apply that pressure. BCH daily time frame very similar to LTC, but has not even broken yet. So daily inside bar yesterday, another one today, and this range is still tight on the 4-hour time frame. So even though we saw that bull move, it didn't do anything to break the 4-hour range that we are currently in, and it's just a lower high at this point. So it's still a tightening 4-hour range on BCH to be watching. It's the tightest pattern right now. Everybody else broke their 4-hour patterns. BCH has not. Has to break it bullish for this daily chart to try and form an equilibrium. Again, just fading for day after day now after that pump that we saw on both BCH and LTC. So again, those two charts are the most similar to each other. ETH and BTC are most similar to each other, and we're going to be watching for clues, but it's bearish. Can't sugarcoat it. The bears have favor, and breaking this daily lower high pattern and breaking the equilibrium bullish is just step number 1. XRP, also daily equilibrium. So here's a scenario where the bears have a slight favor as well. because we have our high, low, lower high. We formed a higher low, but the bulls got no follow through there. So the bulls are desperately trying to hold 506 support to remain in control. If we lose that level, we're going to lose these daily exponential supports, the 12 period, and we got resistance right now at 549. So bulls need to hold 506 and break 549 bullish to get back into this tightening range. And right now we are seeing weakness. So looking at the 4-hour time frame and comparing it, similar to BCH, where we see the bull move, but it doesn't do anything to change the 4-hour trend. It's just a lower high. So both BCH and XRP have not broken the 4-hour lower high pattern. Everybody else that we have looked at has done that to this point. And again, the daily chart is just barely clinging on here. And if we do see this break of 50673, we can look at the 4-hour time frame to find the next support level, 491, and then all the way down to 435. So that's where we stand. Again, as long as the 4-hour lower highs are clear, the bears are extremely comfortable on both BCH and XRP. BNB, so we were tracking this 4-hour equilibrium for 2 days. We were looking for the lower high 2 days ago. We got it. It then developed really nicely throughout yesterday, and the bull break occurred, and we saw significant follow through. We do have upper wicks of profit taking, so that's a potential top fishing play for the bears. You exit if 1077 breaks, you exit any bearish positions. But let's look at the signal here. So when we have a 4-hour equilibrium, the longer term time frames often show that as an inside bar. So here we had multiple inside bars on the daily, and the bull break of the inside bar occurred at 10439. We'll call it 1044. So you could act on that signal, but if you're zooming in and looking at the details, this 4-hour equilibrium broke bullish at 1042. And that was a 2-cent heads up. Not a big deal, but it's a good point to show that oftentimes, just because when candlesticks roll over, when the daily time frame closes, that's what, forms those patterns. But in this instance, if you zoom in, you get more details. So no matter what, whenever I see a clear pattern, I always zoom in to see just what's going on those inner workings behind the scenes, shorter term time frames. Because again, there are often times that there are shorter term signals that you don't see on the longer term time frame. And it does look like we are pulling back right now. Hourly time frame double top. And if we break this support level, it's a clear hourly trend change. So rejection at 769 or 10769 and 1077. And here we are coming down to 1054 support. Very clear double top. And you can see the bears are reacting pretty significantly to that with an aggressive sell-off here. So where we stand right now, healthy consolidation on BNB. We're going to look for a 4-hour higher low, and the bulls will try and maintain the exponential supports that held the entire pattern, this 12-period exponential moving average. Bitcoin and ETH, daily equilibriums. LTC, trying to form a daily equilibrium, but a lot of work to do. BCH and XRP did not break the 4-hour downtrend. The bears still have favor on those two names, absolutely, until that pattern breaks. And BNB, bull break on the 4-hour, but now looking like some healthy consolidation is needed after that double top. That's where we stand as we head into the weekend. Again, just patiently waiting for this daily chart. This is the longest that I haven't touched cryptocurrency since I joined the space back in May 2017. So I am patiently waiting, and I will be ready to strike when we get that opportunity. But until then, I have no problem not trading cryptocurrency for months and months. I have plenty of other stuff to trade, and then when the opportunity presents itself, I will be back to the space. So again, I would love for it to break bullish, but I'm not going to do anything until I see proof by the bulls. Bulls have to prove it to me with some trend changes. So I hope you have a good weekend. I'll see you all tomorrow. We got some Iceland here at the end of the day. And this was one of my favorite spots in Iceland, and it was because it was undeveloped. And this is from one of the scenes of Games of Thrones. I don't watch the show. Something about a dragon scooping somebody up, perhaps. Maybe you'll know. But it was a glimpse into Iceland. Iceland's economy is booming because of tourism, and they're building everywhere. They're building tourist spots all throughout the country. You can just see the construction, and you can tell that things are expanding. And then you get to a spot like this, and you appreciate the ease and the road access and all that they allow you to get to these places. But you get to a spot like this with nobody there, and they had just paved this road to get out to this spot, and it's a little bit off the beaten path. And I know that if I were to go back in 2 years, that there's going to be stairs, there's going to be boardwalks, there's going to be railings, and it's going to be a completely different experience. So it's a bit of a duality with a grain of salt of, enjoying that they are giving us access to these sites and making roads and putting them on the map, but then also realizing that it is a completely different experience than what it is when it's, in the middle of nature and there's not a road ushering buses and everybody else in. So get to Iceland if you can before it's too late, because they are commercializing in a big way, and it will change the landscape absolutely. So let's get into it. Do good things.